Real news, real issues, real people. It's Ceola Wilson One-on-One.
What's up, Bermuda Real family? We're here at the docking stool in Pembroke with members of the Fisherman Association of Bermuda. Now, the last time we appeared with this group, it was last year, October. Since then, there have been a host of statements on Bermuda's Ocean Prosperity Program. Counter statements and then more counter statements. Frankly, as a journalist, I'm a bit confused as to what the main issues are. When you hear from the government, it sounds like the Bermuda Ocean Prosperity Program is a fait accompli. But that's not the case as far as the Fisherman Association of Bermuda is concerned. So joining us here at the docking stool this time around, Delvin Bean, an executive member, Jamie Walsh, who is the secretary. We have the president in the background and several members who have given their time. And thank you for that, because I understand there's a lot of grumbling about giving up some time on the water. But this is important because I think Bermudians really don't know the issues that affect getting Bermuda fish to their plates. And a lot of the issues involved here have to do with that. So from what I can tell, the biggest issue is they're proposing protected areas when the areas already protected are not protected. What can you say to that?
That's so true. It's 100% true, really. They got about 40 hindgrounds, grouper runs that are protected right now. And the funny thing is, they don't manage them. And now they're trying to protect areas, which they don't know why they're trying to protect them. Sometimes they say trying to protect the seagrass, which we have none on the island, because when it was brought to their attention that the turtles eat no seagrass, they said it was stupid. Don't worry about the turtles. That's your minister in place right now, Mr. Walter Roban, which is clueless. He's so far out left field, it's crazy. But one of these days, he might come back to the real world and start realizing what he's doing is killing himself, okay? Because there's an election coming up, and if the people of Bermuda find out what he's doing, it's time to let him go. That's my opinion off the top. And now, like, you got this piece of water that's this beautiful piece of water that's behind us, is they're talking about shutting it down. Why? Somebody tell us why. You can't get anybody from the department at all to come along and say why they're shutting it down. Where they're protecting what? Before they say the seagrass, there's no seagrass behind us. You catch triggerfish. The guys behind me catch triggerfish in the wintertime. They make a living off of it. Now the laying snapper, silk snappers coming up. They're catching them. But now they're going to shut it down because they say they're overfishing them. How do you know they're overfishing them? You're running off our statistics, or you're going out there doing research and study. You go down the east end, the grunts were there. They shut that down because the fishermen were catching too many grunts. One of the divers I'm there to get on there, it's not thousands of yellow grunts down there. There's millions of yellow grunts down there. Millions and millions of grunts. Will they do studies on them? Will they do research on them? Will they do anything to verify, clarify, wonder why the grunts are there? They know they're spawning, but how many there? Why are they there? No, they just stop for some fishing. They sail along. Back in the days, it's been 40, 50 years hindground been shut down. The last time any of these fisheries individuals have been out, done any sort of research, was with me and my brother, okay? And a couple other guys.
How many years ago?
3 years ago. And they said they couldn't keep up with us because that's how many hinds we were catching. They said, maybe we need to open it up because it's that many hinds around. But that was a talk. It goes as far as the next person's desk and it gets scratched. Right? And then they opened it up last year for a second, and they knew that we weren't going to catch because the water was so cold, the fish weren't going to bite. Right? We had a cool eddy on top of us. See, it's a lot of stuff I'm saying which people are not going to understand because it's not the world. The office workers, the truck drivers, the ambulance drivers, the fire truck drivers.
So what do you want them to understand about this issue?
You got to learn everything about the industry. It's like me coming in your office, like me being a journalist and telling you what to do, and I've never done it in my life. Right? That's not how it works. Learn how to do it, what to do it, when to do it, and then make decisions. Don't just snap a finger because you're listening to some person that sits behind a desk or a person that's on a work permit come down and say there's no fish there. All these guys behind us will tell you there's no shortage of fish.
What do you say to the critics on the blogs who always say, well, if the fishermen knew what they were talking about, they would know that Bermuda's fish stocks are depleted? Where is that coming from?
People that sit behind a desk that go out there and try to catch a fish and have no clue how to catch a fish. So if you don't know how to catch a fish, you're not going to catch a fish. Simple. We took out some people 2 years ago. Guy came in and said that he wants to go, he went diving on a rent boat, right? He said he saw no fish. So he came out with us on Paradise One the next day. Went out there, we threw the anchor overboard, done nothing. He said, there's no fish here, there's no fish here. We took a handful of bait, threw it in the water, the back of the boat went green. They're like, what the hell just happened? Simple. I'll give you another scenario. I've got an individual coming to me, to my restaurant, and said, I stayed on North Shore. There's no fish on North Shore. I said, okay, hang on 1 second. You came to this location right now for what? To get food, right? If there was no food here, would you come? No. Same scenario. Why would I go to a place where there's nothing to eat if there's no food there? Fish have to eat, okay? They're not going to stay in one spot because somebody wants to jump in the water for a mask and look at them and say how beautiful they are. They got to eat. Food dictates everything. Every single thing. If it's no food, there's nothing going to happen. And again, let's switch up a bit. Runoffs from construction, vehicles, oil on our roads, killing our shoreline. We didn't do it. It's called management of government. Manage your stuff and you'll be a better place, which they don't.
What do you say to the critic that say the fishermen's greed kills their industry, in that a lot of times you go look for fish and the main catch has been sold to restaurants already at a higher price?
It's not a higher price at restaurants. Remember, you're in a restaurant, a seafood restaurant, okay? Our prices are subject to whatever it has to be. Remember, we've got some of the highest fuel prices in the world, okay? We don't exactly get it for free. Duty-free fuel, if I told you the price of duty-free fuel versus what we're paying, which goes to government, you'd be like, wow. Even though we got a rebate from government, which we're blessed and thankful for, which my brother and a few other guys had to negotiate, but we get it. But the price of fish, it's subject to how much we're paying for fuel, okay? Price of food in this island is subject to what the supermarket's selling it for. We can't do that. We have to take it as it comes. We have to go out there and spend many hours, rain, blow, snow, or shine, in the weather and catch the fish. It's one of the hardest jobs. Actually, it is probably the hardest job in the world, okay? I tell people all the time, you want to catch a fish or you're complaining about the price? We're leaving the dock at 5 o'clock in the morning. Come with us and let me see you survive the day without getting seasick. And then you got to fight the fish. Then you got to clean the fish. Then you got to come in and process it, try to sell it, and then try to get a good price for it. We don't go off of our catch. We go off of what we catch. Okay? In other words, if we don't catch nothing, we don't get paid. And we're not guaranteed to catch fish. That's a fact. That's something none of us. Even if one of my fellow friends behind me, he might go look for bait. It's not necessary to get bait.
Every day is a fishing day.
But every day is not a catching day. And people are going to understand, we work over and beyond to provide a fresh, healthy, natural food product for us, everyone on the island. Okay? No steroids or drugs in it. It's a natural product. They say it gets mercury. All got out here, most of us. So don't talk about mercury. And see, like one time ago, another scenario, you had an individual catching swordfish. They instantly posted something about mercury and swordfish. So everyone stopped buying it to shut him down. It's amazing. This little island has all brains and little common sense. It's unfortunate.
Jamie, before we get into the technicalities, pass the mic over. What's the main thing you want the average Bermudian to know about the Fisherman Association's stance against the BOP plan?
Really, these guys are here because they're passionate about marine sustainability. They're passionate about going out on the water. That's their livelihood. They feed their families. These guys are not fishermen because they want to go to meetings and write reports. They want to be out on the water. That's the most amazing place for them to be. They want it to be sustainable. They want to teach their kids to fish. They want to support their families. We're not out there to catch the last fish in the ocean. We want to make this work, and we want to be part of it. We want to be part of this management plan. We want our voices to be heard, and we want to have a say in how our industry is run. And BOP has not been able to let us do that.
Now, we have intergenerational fishermen here, your husband, and who else?
His uncle, Mr. Sperling.
Could you step over to the mic, both of you? What have been some of the problems in recent times with BOP and your fishing industry? And how is it affecting the link with your family?
My biggest issue is not protection of the resources. It's the cart before the horse approach. There's a lot of legislation that needs to go into place to secure our industry before the MPAs go in place.
Like what?
They need to pass legislation about recreational fishing, bring them under the regulated system. They need to pass regulation on moorings. They need to pass regulation on, find a solution for the airport dump, commercial shipping, cruise ships.
Because the airport dump caused problems with the bait you catch.
Oh, yeah.
What was that problem?
As the airport dump expands into Castle Harbor, it's changing the way the water flows through the system.
Right.
And I'm not a scientist. I haven't been monitoring it, but it needs monitoring.
Sure.
It's buried up where the anchovies used to spawn. It's
They're
buried
not
up
there.
turtle grass. It's buried up reefs.
Wow.
It's a huge problem. It needs to be, an exit plan needs to be developed.
And none of this has been developed yet.
And you have the incinerator who dumps the ash overboard. It's not scrubbed for heavy metals.
Just for our viewers who don't know who you are, tell us your name and what you do.
I'm Kevin Walsh, and I'm a commercial net fisherman.
Have been for how long?
I've been licensed since 2001.
Okay. How about you, sir? Come to the mic. Tell us your name and your connection.
Keith Sperling. I'm a commercial bait fisherman.
Okay.
I've been doing it.
Come closer to the mic.
For a long time.
Sure.
The problems that I see are there are so many bays that are protected now, and fisheries do not enforce them. Shelley Bay, Whalebone Bay are two prime examples. Have you ever seen anybody prosecuted for in there?
No.
They continually abuse that.
By fishing there?
Yes.
Okay.
Cast netting in those bays. And now with Bob, they want to take the few remaining bays and shorelines that we can catch bait in and put it out of bounds. So we'll be out of business. It's as simple as that.
And your appeals have fallen on deaf ears?
Yes.
You would say?
Well, you go to them, they listen, but then nothing changes. Net fishing requires getting one end of the net ashore, circling it, walking along the edge of the mangroves, and they want you to keep whatever it is. I can't remember now. It was 15 feet away. The bait is naturally protected. What bait runs under the mangrove trees is left. You can't fish in the mangrove trees, but yet fisheries department thinks we're destroying the mangroves. We're not. Development is just destroying the mangroves. And you tell them, you look at the destruction, you go in Bailey's Bay Cricket Club and look between the shoreline and the pylons. They've destroyed that bay with transmission cables for Belco. It's bad in there. You can't pull a net in there anymore. And that used to be one of the most productive bait fishing bays around. But it's gone. And there's so much other trash in the bays. There's a lot of places you can that are naturally protected. So that's where it is now. If it goes through like it is, we're done.
Wow. Okay. Now, the fishermen have been pretty vocal with protests leading up to this. I spoke to you. Step up to the mic. Just tell us your name, how long you've been a commercial fisherman, and tell me a bit about what we touched on about reporting your catch, because there's some issues with
I'll start from the beginning. I'm Michael Barnes. I'm fished for 52 years. I had a license in 1972. And this whole BOP issue started as a bunch of rich white people coming here saying that it was nothing but a fish. It's about protect. I'm sorry I had to go that way, but that's how it is. I tell it as it is. They came here. I met them. We had one meeting back in 2017, and they want to block this off and block that off. It was nothing to do with our fish stocks. Nothing to do with our fish stocks whatsoever. It was all about blocking areas off to tree huggers to save the world. And why should we give up our waters? It belongs to Marines. It just doesn't belong to fishermen here. It belongs to 65,000 Ceola, all of us, on the ocean. Then Walter Riban comes up, Mr. Riban comes back and says that because of the world thing, we have to give up a certain amount of waters. So we started saying, we'll give up this. And they don't want that. They want certain areas. Why? What do they know that we don't know? It was nothing to do about fish stocks. These guys got part of it right, but the fish stocks got played into it as it goes along. There's nothing wrong with fish stocks. There's no scientific facts whatsoever. The fish pot ban in 1990 killed us all. Buried my father, buried Danny Ferris, buried a lot of guys, because that's all they knew. We got over it. This government here was the same government that prayed of us to save the fish and Ann Carter, the way she put us all out of business. And these are the same guys have now turned around and doing the same thing.
So not what you would expect from a Labour Party.
I am shocked. I am totally shocked. Everybody knows I was the one that had a UP property, keep all my property signed up for years. I was Spanish Point. They know where my votes lied. I'm going as past tense. And things have changed rapidly.
So any signs going up for the PLP?
Oh, never. Not this, my MP actually came down my house yesterday.
Who's your MP?
Deshae Adams. Nice guy, super guy. Couldn't ask for better.
Were you nice to him?
He came out there yesterday to my house. I quote, I came looking for licks. And between me and my wife and my family, he got licks. He promised me a meeting with Mr. Ryan in the next 2 weeks. I'm the only fisherman. I'm not saying the biggest guy, I'm not putting up, but I have 3 boats, I have 3 licenses, I have 3 trucks, so I give back a lot at the end of a financial year to government.
Has this government had a listening ear as far as you're concerned?
No, not at all. It's already been a done deal. All we're talking about right now is already passed.
Do we have accurate figures on?
No, not you. They don't have a clue. I'll tell you why. I think I talked to you about this already. The fishermen are a very small group. I think it's only 50 full-time fishermen now. It might even be less. And then you have recreational fishermen and you have fishermen with license. So the total is probably a package of like just over 200. But you have 1,000+ other boats that have no license that can go out there and catch the same as me just yesterday.
And they don't have to report.
They don't have to report nothing. So government is getting a very, very small inkling of what actually is getting caught. And my nephew back here, I'm a family all fishermen. My brother has 4 sons, all fishermen. My son, unfortunately, would have been here today, but he's on a plane back here. Wishing he'd been here. We're all fishermen. And it's the same thing he says. This year here was the first time in my life that he ever put a bag limit on me lobsters. We were only allowed to catch 600 lobsters this year. I could sell 600 lobsters on top of Trimham Hill on a Friday. That's no joke. I could sell that being a Friday, but we only lost 600. So right off the bat, they made me a liar from day one. So I had to sit down on September 1st and work out that I got to report 20-some lobsters a week to end of March. They just think that you can go out there, you can catch your 600, and you can bring traps home.
But the spare fishermen can catch more.
Now, this is where it works. This is. I'm going to give you some facts here, figures. There was, I think, 17 to 20 fishermen this year. That's always a lot of pots. We were legally allowed to catch 13,200 lobsters. There were 150 divers, hobbies, that were legally allowed to catch 2 a day, 7 days a week. Worked out to 75,000 lobsters they were legally allowed to catch. I'm giving you facts.
And that still stands.
Now, mind you, the divers don't catch that many lobsters because nobody dives 7 days a week. But legally, they were allowed to catch 72,000.
So you'd like to see that fit?
No, I want my full pots. They stole back from us because they cut us all back to 8 traps. They cut us back. They took 1/3 of our catch from us. 1/3 of our traps, I'm sorry. They cut us from 12 traps down to 8. We still pay an extra $1,750. Don't quote me, I think I'm close, on our permit. They didn't even have the decency to give us back 1/3 of the money. They said they have to go through legislation. Not that I want 1/3 of my money back, I'd rather my full pots. Because they took 1/3 of my livelihood from me. Cut us, I keep saying me, cut us back to 600 lobsters a season. And how are you supposed to make liars? You made liars of us, and right off the bat, we're doomed if we don't. If we don't get the 600 lobsters by the end of the year, there's a problem. If we get the 600 lobsters by a certain time, there's a problem. If we don't catch the 600, I told straight up, I would catch 599 lobsters on March 31st. Straight up. I told them that September 1st. On March 31st, I'll have my 599 lobsters. If you're going to make a liar out of me, make it. You made it out of me by banning me. The problem is we have no turtle grass. Mr. Bean just said that. The turtle grass is because they destroyed the turtles. Government, fisheries destroyed the turtles because they didn't cultivate the bigger ones. So they just kept reading. You should be able to sit right here right now with your camera and see turtles. A couple years ago, there's all the turtles you want. They're dead. You can't bring back dead. Turtles, you can call the aquarium, you can call anybody. Turtles are dead. We wiped them out. Edith's Harbor, my mate said, y'all now, they're so hungry, they fight over fish. Turtles don't eat fish. Well, the appetite now is going to fix it. There's no turtle grass. The turtle grass affects the lobster industry. The baby turtles of lobster born, they hide in the grass. It also affects the garfish. It affects everything. There's no turtle grass. Look how white the ocean is. It's dead. Turtle grass is dead. Now it's going to take a long time to get back. Then you'll start seeing things. But it's all proper process. Don't go around and tell me fishing stocks, it's like Mr. Bean just said, and others going to tell me, is dead. It's plenty of fish in this, right?
So now that we're looking at election, how's all this?
Election don't mean nothing. The PLP can't lose. They know that. I'm being real.
How's it going to affect you?
How's it going to affect me? It's going to kill me. It's not me. I'm had my day. I'm old. I'm getting out of it. My son's
So what
taking
about
over.
the future?
But I have a son that's 40 years old. He has a charter boat, the Kurumas Harbor Fisheries, and he's got to make his living. I have a grandson that's 16 years old getting into it. I have nephews that's getting into it. That's it. I'm 4-generation community. My father was fisherman all his life. Today he died. My grandfather before that, I didn't go no back further. I have a brother that's 16 years older than me. He's still fishing at 70.
But this doesn't sound like it's sustainable.
It is. Fishing is sustainable. Fishing, we protect ourselves. 1972, the fisherman, Danny Ferris, I'm sure you heard him say, we went to government when they were destroying those hinds, and we told them to put a ban on it. We gave up, my father and my brothers, the only lobster turtle fishermen in the island. They gave it up. They gave it up so we protect the turtles. We do it all, not fisheries.
Do you think Danny went to his grave disappointed?
Danny, yeah, he did. And you know, unfortunately, Danny said so many good things that, or so many other things outside the box that he went on a lot of topics, but he died disappointed. Because Danny's one of the guys that looked down the road like I do. I'm not worrying about me. I'm done. Listen, I'm had my share, but I'm looking at my son. I'm looking at my grandchildren. I'm looking at my nephews. Those are the ones we have to protect. Him, he's young. You mean there's a couple young guys here, and there's other young guys well behind the camera. They don't want to be in the camera. It's our future.
Okay.
You mean, and it's plenty out there for them. But we have to stop this BOP thing. This BOP is blue halo, and it's all about money. Somebody told me as much as 100 million. I'm heard 50 million. I'm heard a few million. Who is getting money in their pocket?
Okay.
Big question.
Anybody
Maybe
else?
one of these guys have something else to say.
Who's next?
Thank you.
Tell us your name, how long you've been fishing, and what your issue is.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Lamb. I've been fishing.
Closer. Come closer.
I'm sorry. My name is Robert Lamb. I've been fishing for 45 years or so. Commercial fisherman, charter fisherman, high seas fisherman. I can't really say too much now. Mr. Bean and Mr. Barnes took everything that was in my head, and they said it already. But one thing I like to really see, these guys, they want to put rules and regulations in place, and they can't maintain the ones that they have. And that's a big issue. We have 200 miles to walk around the island. One boat's fishing at 200 miles in, and you want to shut him down for what? But you're dealing with pelagic fish that come in not the zone. They come in the wintertime, they're out in the summertime. Things that you could be left alone, they want to take. You're fishing the inshore fishery, all that kind of stuff. Look, I was out fishing today, snapper ground, one boat fishing. But then, say 3 square miles from me. On a weekend, I might have 2. So what damage are we doing? We're using hand line. There's no damage doing like that. I think it's a whole waste. Where they're getting the information from, like this guy was saying, I don't know. They're pulling it out of the sky. I think it's rubbish.
There's a lot of misinformation as well, though, because I quite often hear Bermudians saying they need to stop these Chinese long-line fishermen from fishing off Bermuda. Are they? Do we even know? We don't have a Coast Guard.
Well, they fish here, they're fishing for pelagic fish. They're in the zone, they're out the zone. That's it. They've been coming here for years fishing the zone. You have Americans fishing the zone.
So they take all the fish out of this zone, take it back and resell it?
No.
What do you mean?
They're fishing around the world for pelagic fish that swim around the world. If the fish is not in the zone, they're not in the zone.
Okay.
That's hard. That's
so
how
how does Bermuda's area fit into all of this?
Well, got 200 miles, one boat fishing it. If they say they fish up the west end, and he's fishing the east end, you're not finding any fish, right? The fish are coming in and out. You got so much satellite imagery now, the whole 9 yards, but it's one boat. He can only fish for so long. He fishes for a week. He comes here with, say, 5,000 pounds of fish. You can't go back the next day, because you got fish sitting on in your cooler doing nothing, or you got to sell it up the street.
Speaking of boats, what do you feel about this new tracking device that all fishing vessels have to have by next year, when most places in the world, they don't even track boats that size, that little?
That tracker system is meant mainly, from what I see, for ships, high seas fishing boats. Okay?
But they said it includes you guys.
That's what they wanted to. But for us, there's no need for us. Why you want to spend that kind of money on a 35 or 45
But
foot
it
boat?
sounds like the decision's been made already.
I think it's
no
garbage.
Consultation on that either.
No, they're not.
You want to add something? Go ahead.
The AIS is put in place because instead of them doing their job, just like there's cameras all around the pills right now, they're trying to take shortcuts and catch people without doing their job. So they want to track us. And they're trying to catch people from doing illegal fishing. That's the bottom line.
Is that the answer, though?
That's the answer. The only reason they're doing it, trying to catch guys doing illegal fishing. And it's made. It's a done deal. It's a iron fist. It's Russia. Okay? That's how bad it is.
You care to
And
add?
unfortunately, when it comes to 90% of the stuff that's happening on this island, is dictatorship. They don't listen to anything we say to them, which is the unfortunate
Well,
part.
the minister said that you had your consultation, but the president said you were only allowed, 5 minutes?
That's in the beginning. We had 5-minute intervals. And then like one meeting I went to, we had a bunch of people there that basically knew nothing about the ocean. And I felt like saying, you got to be kidding me. This is who you're taking our advice from?
So the consultation was a joke then?
It's a blatant outright.
So is that a done deal, or you're still looking for more consultation?
It's a waste of time. Right now, the only thing we can do, in my eyes, is the other way is to let them dug and pass it, which Warren says, Michael says, and then we're going to have to try our best to get these senators to stop it. Because right now, it's a done deal. And the only way you can get stuff, so that way, once the election comes out, fingers crossed that this individual regime gets kicked out of power, and they're going to say that because I'm affiliated with another party, that's what they're going to say, which I'm not.
Yeah.
But
well, you're a bean.
I'm a bean, exactly. I'm a bean, so I'm affiliated. But the point is, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a government that's going to worry about us, the people of Bermuda. Okay, there's no way in the world can we outfish 200 miles of water with a hook and line. Okay, with a hook and line, virtually, literally impossible to outfish these waters with a hook and line. Okay,
unless they put us in one spot.
Unless they put us all in one spot, which ain't gonna happen. We got 200 miles of water, and they're trying to say we're outfishing with a hook and line,
with no real figures.
With no real figures. We give numbers, but they're not, like Michael said earlier. They're giving numbers from us, but the other 1,000 people that don't have to put numbers in, they're oblivion. They don't have to know it. It's only us.
Can you just add to that? Come up. Come on. Yeah. Tell us who you are and your point, please.
Hello, my name is David Barnes. I've been fishing 28 years, commercial fisherman. And like you're saying, they're going to put us all in one spot. Bob's going to send all the lobster fishermen, per se, or you can't go in this portion. So now they're going to push them over into my section or his section. And you're going to wipe it out. You can't wipe it out. If you direct everybody into one spot, you can wipe it out. You could definitely hurt it.
Right.
And I mean, that's the basic point. That they really want to just put us all in one spot so they can look at us one spot and keep an eye on all of us.
What's your other issues about this whole thing? Unless that long?
These guys have hit most of them pretty good.
Okay.
But like I said, the fact that they're going to say, they're going to tell you that we had our time to shine and say what we wanted to say. But the real fact is they gave us a minute or 2 minutes to say your piece. You know. And
so what's your message to them now, moving forward? It sounds like a done deal to me.
It is. It sounds like it's a done deal to us as well.
So protesting and making noise.
Like I said, we had 10,000 signatures from Bermudians. 5,000, sorry.
So what would you say to the average Bermudian on why they should even care?
Well, if they want to eat fish and they like the local fish and the ways that we catch them, they're going to have to help us out. They have to help us out. Vote, do whatever they have to do. We need help.
Anybody else?
I'd also say that,
go ahead.
We got a problem in this country of Bermudians leaving because they don't have a lot of hope here. And, these guys are Bermudian. You can't be an expat and come and fish. This is a viable livelihood where it should be. And what does it say when the government puts into these, works on these policies, but they don't care about what Bermudians say?
You bring this camera down.
Go to the mic.
If you bring the camera down here, Saturday, Sunday, any holiday, especially Dr. Stewart, where we are now, down in
right.
You see tons of Bermudians fishing.
Right.
You go off Waffle Bridge, which I have to go through every morning and go through, you see tons of expats, Filipinos, whatever, and all the bridges fishing around the island.
Is that illegal?
It's all going to be illegal. North Shore is going to be closed off. People won't.
So you won't be able to do that.
People won't even be able to fish off their own rocks. That's why they're trying to turn like on Paradise Toxic Lakes. They call it Paradise Lake. You're blocking that off. Yet everybody goes on Paradise Lakes and they lay off and they call it Toxic Lakes and they flush their toilets in the boat. So the pollution. Everybody's throwing anchor. Everybody's throwing an anchor aboard. Sons of Warwick, Long Bay is a prime one. This man made me go swimming. I don't swim. I hate the water. But he brought up a point to me one day, Tobacco Bay and Newport Bay side by each. One of them has natural mangroves. Help me out which one it is. So I go down and swimming. One has been blocked off for 30 years. Down in St. George's. I've been down last night, down in a new restaurant, and I look at it. The bay has natural mangroves. I swam around. I don't like swimming. I'll tell you that one more time. And there's no fish in there. A couple of those sheds and then mangroves. The bay right next to it, the one that's got a pretty white beach, and everybody's swimming. You're allowed to put boats in there. Got big parrotfish, chubs, everything's there. Go down Hamilton Princess right now. Take this camera when you leave here. Go down Hamilton Princess. I'm telling you right now, on the dock, right this minute, you'll see 10,000 pounds of fish.
So
10,
that's
like
how
Dallas says, the chefs come out every day with tubs of food and they throw them overboard. Go down Hamilton Princess. You want to see fish? Go down Spanish Boat Club. It's like an aquarium because we clean up fish at Spanish Boat Club dock. Hamilton Princess, I swear to God, it's 10,000 pounds of fish sitting right there for everybody to see because they're fed. If you keep feeding, now if you want to go into Pitts Bay and keep feeding, that fish will leave Princess Dock and go to Pitts. Just like you said, we have done it all our life. Not saying we know it all, but 51 years of fishing, and between us right here, just a couple guys here, or a couple hundred years. We know it, but government does this. Walter Band has met with fishermen once. He met to us at St. Paul's Church in Hamilton. He gave us all 1 minute to talk, am I right? 1 minute. You know what a minute is? Not very often. Then he's supposed to go to St. George's to talk to us.
So does that qualify as a listening government to you?
That cause is, to me, is disrespect. He said, I quote, unquote, that he personally stopped Blue Halo because they disrespected the fishermen. Quote, unquote. That's what came out of his mouth. I got it all on tape if you want. I said, what are you doing to us? But that same statement you said about Blue Halo, he stopped it because they were disrespectful. What are you doing to us? So, he has not met with us. He doesn't care about us. It's all about money, sir.
So what's your message to Mr. Rabin going into another election as far as your members are concerned?
Boy, I came with my fish down the other day. I didn't charge for the fish. I gave it to him. I told him he wanted somebody campaign. I hope that little farmer boy that they took the land from him by whatever, I hope he beats him bad. It's not going to probably happen, but I hope he beats him bad. Then, you know, this all here is like Joe Swan. We have to get politicians that fight for us. And right now, our Labour government doesn't care about us. David Brett does, because he's putting your boy in place, but he backs off. He's put him in place several times. So he lay back, and he lays back. Like you said earlier, it's a done deal. We're just right now here today to educate the people on what is going down, or what's going down. And in a couple of years' time, I guess a year's time, we'll be able to say, we told you so. But you can't go off your own dock and fish. We told you so. We can't build a dock. We told you so. It's coming. Thank you.
But again, up the top of the list, what everyone's trying to say, if they can manage what they got, they can police what they got, if they can govern what they got, it's all irrelevant because they can't manage any of it. From the very top, they can implement stuff right now, and there's no one to enforce it. They're saying that you got the English and everybody can give money to do it, but if you have no one to do it and if you're not going to do it right, that makes sense. That's why they're putting AISs on the license boats, but the average Joe Blow can do whatever he wants. And no statistics, no nothing. So, like I was telling somebody today, we used to go out 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, used to leave 5, 6, 4 o'clock in the morning, go fishing. Now, we got 10, 15 boats in front of us. And out of those 15 boats, maybe 1 or 2 might have a license. No one's got a license. So the thing is, we have to put our statistics in. They don't put in anything.
So it's open season.
It's open season. But they take our statistics and say the fish stocks are going on. The fish stocks ain't going on. The pot just got split bigger between more people. But and as a businessman that has a little brain up here that knows how to do numbers, it's not hard to figure out. 1 and 1 makes 2, not 11. But these individuals that sit up on that hill that think they're named God don't have a clue. They're useless. Okay? And I said I'd never go on them. I've been PLP my whole life. Okay, I nearly fought over him. I used to argue with one of my friends back here about it, get him to vote.
You still PLP?
No. No. Straight up down the middle, no. They disrespected me for no reason, and they will not listen to us. I've lost all respect for them, and I don't value them at all. They used to come to my restaurant. I'll sit up and talk to them. I'll bend over backs for them. Now, you want to come directly in my industry with no basis, no grounds, nothing to back it up, because some person with some money wants to give it to you and you want to take it and make us look like fools? Nah, that's bad, man. That's really bad. That's sad.
Now, you and your brother run a seafood place. How has it been providing local fish? Have you had any trouble?
No.
Except for the weather?
I know certain things and how to do certain things, and I stock up on fish. Sometimes it might be a couple of weeks old, but it's typically 90% Bermuda fish. I do have imported wahoo every so often, especially if this is a cheaper product, but it is an imported fish. And wahoo is a seasonal thing in this island. So I will stock up as much as I can with wahoo, and then eventually I'll run it and import it. And if you ask the question, My staff would tell you it's imported water.
So as a Bermudian fisherman, does it process in your mind that an island surrounded by water imports most of the fish that we eat? 80%, I'm told?
80% of the fish.
So you're only dealing with 20%?
Yes. And
so it's a small market to begin with?
Yes, but
you're killing off the fish.
But we're killing off the fish. Don't make sense, right? But, and remember, only dealing with hook and line. Hook and line. That's why we're only catching some
Why
fish.
do we not make local supplies more?
We can't catch it.
How do you feel about the fishing market they're proposing?
The fish plant they're proposing?
Yes, fish plant.
That was a crumb thrown to us so that they can implement what they're doing now.
But it's not happening.
We don't want it. We don't want
You don't want it because
we
why?
wanted it. We were going for it, but we don't want it now because, like I said, it was a crumb thrown to us to get us concentrate on that and not worry about what they're trying to do now.
Now you're more focused on
now
that.
They're attacking us, so now we're going to attack them.
So how do you see this playing out? Because it sounds like it's a done deal to me.
It's not really a done deal.
Not to be unfair.
It's not a done deal. The fishermen got to stick together. We're all got to come out. We're got to let everybody know and let the public know that it's a 90% chance what little fish they're getting now, it can go down to none. That's the bottom line.
You think the public knows that?
They don't know it. They know it, but they don't know it.
Every time I saw lobster here, I put my head down. Lobster prices this year almost doubled.
Why?
I sold a $50 lobster. I just told you, we had a lot of catch 600. My permit price stayed the same. I think Mr. Lamb covered the fuel prices with crazy. Remember, that lobster I go and get 20 of, it's cost me $200-300 just to go and get it. While all the price of lobsters here went up by at least $10. I said this in front of the press in September, and I'm going to say it again for next year. Next year, probably go more. People are paying $60 lobster this year, but it was a $40 lobster.
Small lobster.
I never sold lobster less.
Did people complain?
No, in the beginning, yes. And after all, what do? You accept it.
So,
lobster person wants to eat lobster, wants to eat
so we're suckers like that.
I wouldn't use that word. But
what word would you use? We're easy like that.
We're easy, yeah. Yeah, you want something, you can get it. It's like a cigarette. But I started smoking cigarettes, $25 back. When I gave them up, and it's probably too late, it was $15 back. I hear now they're $18 back. How much do you want a cigarette? The same as a lobster. A lobster person wants. What I don't like is when somebody brings in a $40 lobster, cheaper, calls a local lobster restaurant, and the same person.
They get away with that?
Oh, every 90% of lobsters sold restaurant a year, 90% were reported.
90% of the lobsters in the restaurant this year.
Including your restaurant?
I have both, and I tell people that.
He's one of the honest ones, and they're paying $100 and some dollars per lobster. $60, $70 a half, and $100 some dollars for a lobster.
And I tell people, like I said, you come to that restaurant.
Because they don't mind if you tell them the truth.
You tell them the truth. You tell them the truth. My
but what about fishermen who wash foreign fish in salt water to give it? I've heard about certain fishermen. So it's a lot of buggishness.
I sell fishermen meals throughout my cruise and open to anybody who wants to come up here. I get checked at least. I don't physically get checked by 50 because they, like Delvin said, they do nothing. They physically don't come see me, but they send us spies up every week. They buy fish. They probably go back to the labs. They've taken fish from me twice in the last 40 years.
I don't see fishermen in court for offenses.
That's the problem. You got 5 fishermen warden. Tell me the last time somebody's been booked. If I was a fisherman warden, I need a bodyguard to go bed with. That's how easy it is. You come out here tonight, it's a beautiful night, you'll see 20 lights on here catching silk snappers. You're allowed to catch 30 silk snappers a night.
An unlicensed fisherman is allowed 30
silk snappers in 5 minutes. Not one. Fishing warden don't work nights. If you don't believe me, call.
So that means I can catch 60.
Call Bermuda Harbor here
tonight. Catch as many as you want.
The number is 297-1010. Ask the gentleman, ask the phone, tell him who you are. You want to know how many boats are fishing tonight in the illegal ground. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. You know why they tell you? Because they were told when they have to call it fisherman wardens, they don't work. If you get paid to do nothing, see how finish that state. You do nothing.
Okay.
So this is a big problem with the market here. So we have our licensed guys, and every single restaurant on the island should be asking to see a commercial license when they buy fish.
So I could be a Joe Blow who just caught a rockfish and go to Fourways, just saying Fourways as an example, and I don't have to be a licensed fisherman to sell.
Technically,
I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
But nobody's checking me.
They are supposed to check.
Every restaurant is supposed to check for like.
So I could dress like you and get away with it. Yeah. That doesn't make sense.
So there's a lot of fish that enters the market illegally. So that's competition for these guys. And there's a lot, even way more fish that gets imported. And one of the things in FAB's plan that we put forward was to have all imported fish be marine sustainability certified.
And they don't do that.
That's not the case right now.
Not before that. What's that nasty tilapia fish?
Tilapia,
where they grow that?
all the stuff that gets
disgusting.
Farmed and
it's all over the place.
There's major issues worldwide with unsustainable fishing practices.
So why do we still even have that here?
So we basically purchased.
So what do the fisheries wardens do?
Well, they don't have the budget, unfortunately. And honestly, you know what? We would like to work with them, and we would like to advocate for them to have the resources to do their jobs. We would like to be on their side.
That's our license.
So last year, it was 4 months that the card printer for the fishermen's licenses was broken.
Like the taxi calibration thing.
Yeah, so it took them 4 months to fix the thing. The fisheries wardens' trucks are still off the road because they didn't pass TCD. They can't afford gas for the boats. They have no resources.
So what is going on?
It's just a lack of resources.
Lack of bay management.
Yes. Consistently, it sounds
what we're really concerned about is they're going to call themselves sustainable once they've put in these MPAs, and they're going to pat themselves on the back, and then they're going to continue this bad management. But they're going to pat themselves on the back because they've done such a wonderful job.
I've yet to see a government department admit that they were poorly run and do something about it. So how do you see this playing out? You're just going to keep banging the same drum?
Yes.
Until what?
Yeah.
If there's no consequences for fishing illegally, that's what people are going to do.
I can't recall the last time I've heard anybody in court for that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we talked about wanting recreational licensing, and when we were in negotiations with government, they said, yes, it will happen this year.
So it's just like the gentleman said, put in the cart before the horse.
Yeah, so far, the CFC and the MRB and DNR, they're ready to go with recreational licensing structure.
So what's the problem?
They've got it pretty much worked out, but there's no political will to enact it because it's going to be an election soon, and they don't want to, because a lot of recreational fishers it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a culture shift, but it's a necessary one.
So how about more action? Like, how about inviting people to take a boat ride with you on election day instead of voting? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you fighting a losing battle?
It's a very slow moving battle. So right now, BOP has been sent to this independent panel, which was appointed by Minister Robin. And
who's on it? Are they independent?
An assortment of people.
None of them fishermen.
Does that even make sense?
There's an assortment of people,
but no fishermen.
No real fishermen.
Well, what? Make-believe fishermen?
Part-time fishermen, recreational fishermen, accountants, bookkeepers. Yeah.
I'm sorry I asked.
So we are hoping very much that they will be inviting members of the Fishermen's Association.
You're not holding your breath, are you? Can't you just bombard the meetings? Can you go anyway? Or you have to be invited?
You have to be invited.
And who makes that decision? The head of fisheries?
The independent panel makes the decision on who to invite to discuss it with them.
Any final points?
Like I said earlier, at least 75% of the stuff they are trying to implement, we support it. Literally, we support it. We want it to happen. But the main thing is the policing up top, and that's for all of them. We even said, let's do like the world makes the average person get a license. Okay, I have people on board today from Boston, and I asked them about that. I said, you gotta get a license. It's $50 in Boston for a day.
So they need revenue. Why not smack that on?
And I said that exactly. Put a simple $50 license on it, and we can cover all of our stuff that needs to be done. All your expenses that you need to cover
Tell
can
me
be
this,
done.
though. I've heard people say that BOP will make it illegal for you to fish off Waffle Bridge. You need a permit. Is that true?
Beg pardon?
That BOP will make fishing off the bridge illegal.
I haven't heard that at all. This is something...
So people have a lot of misinformation.
Yes, a lot of misinformation, rumors, talk, which I haven't heard anything about. But again, everyone should have to get a permit, a license.
But that's recreational fishermen who's going out for the day.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
But your license is what, 30 grand?
A lot. A lot. I can put a number on it. It's a lot. But again, like I had an individual go down the foot of the lane a few months ago, last year actually, because his son was drifting on the event down there.
Right.
And I have Filipino staff. He said it was 10 Filipino staff fishing in the mangroves. And I'm like, he got mad at him, took the bucket, because they said they didn't speak English. He took the buckets and threw it overboard. I said that to the Great Fishery Department. They said, we can't do anything about it. What? So what you here for? We can't fish in mangroves because it's illegal, but they're fishing in mangroves, catching little grunts and little snappers and all the other little fish, but we get in trouble, but they don't. Okay?
So what's that? Selective
policing. Selective enforcement, yes.
Wow.
They do what they want to do. And I'm got Filipino staff. I love my staff. They do a great job. But the point is, I'm not picking on them. I'm just pointing out points, you know? So it's crazy.
Okay. Any final points? Anybody?
Once this information gets to the public, please, Ceola, can we get a survey out to the public to get their feelings on how this industry has been treated?
Sure.
That's what we'd like to see, a survey put out there, a public survey, so that the people that are watching your show, watching this telecast, give us a survey.
What's the main questions you want?
Basically, how do you feel that the government is handling the situation? Are they listening to the fishermen? Are they paying attention to what's happening? Why and who is backing this, and why are they backing it? Because we are probably, even though we're not being managed properly, we're still the most governed place around, okay? Out of everybody in the island. So I don't know what they're saying and why they're saying it, but it's just not right. You know, so a question is, what does the public feel if they can't get fish? They're having a hard time getting fish? No. If all this stuff gets intervened, they're going to have less fish.
But they could get tilapia.
Oh, you can get swine, tilapia in a heartbeat. Omega-6. If you don't know what omega-6 is, Google it. Google it. Omega-6.
So if they want to send in a response, they can email it to you, Jamie, the association?
Yeah, the Fisherman Association is on Facebook, is on Instagram.
Yeah. You want to hear from the public whether or not they support your cause.
We want to know if this public is going to support us, or they're going to support BOP, which is a high-end, multi-billionaire entity that is trying to govern and manage this country and stop the average Joe Blow fisherman from fishing off the rocks, catching a silk snapper, catching a bream, catching a grunt for dinner. Okay? That's the bottom line. That's what they're trying to stop. Okay, they are a multi-billion-dollar organization. Billion-dollar organization. You Google them. Everybody needs to Google BOP. Find out about it. Read about it. I think it's Rate Foundation as well. Rate Foundation. Google them. Read up on these guys who's funding this. No one said that before. Google those two names and find out what's behind them. It ain't us. Okay? Wow. It ain't us. And that's the bottom line. That is the hitting the nail on the head. It's money. Okay? All about money. So, are they going to help us as an island, or are they going to help that little circle?
Yeah.
That's my problem. I am a people person. I'm for the people. I provide food for the people. Okay? If they're not going to help us or cut our prices down so we can have a better life, so it won't be so hard for us in Bermuda, yes, fine. But if they're just going to keep on doing what they're doing, pick up your stuff and get off the island.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll send that information in on how you feel about it. And of course, this story is not over, nowhere near over, and we'll be back on it at some point. Thanks for tuning in.